Great numbers across the board. Danny Jansen goes after that high here. Second strikeout of the ball game for Bauer. He's retired the first 5 he's faced.
Just watch him operate up in the strike zone, down in the strike zone, a couple of breaking balls away, and then he elevates that fastball. Second strikeout of the night for Bauer.
Do you have channel 2 on manual but turned down the whole way?
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Channel 2.
Tilt down to get a medium shot.
Channel 2 manual.
Good afternoon and welcome to State Newsfile. I'm Christian Oldale. Danica Ferris here will have her great sports opinion, but first, let's check with Ryan O'Donnell with the weather. Ryan, tell us about that sweetness coming from the sky.
Well, Chris, it is definitely sweet. It's been an absolutely beautiful day across the city today. A little bit colder now that the clouds have moved in and the wind, but our high was 14 degrees. Last year, 8 degrees, so a little bit colder last year. Now, funny thing, our record high on this date was 20 degrees back in 1944, and 1944 was the year that our record high was set last year, too. Weird coincidence, maybe, and our low was -2 back in 1911, so lots to be grateful for in terms of nice weather today.
Flame season, what are your thoughts going on this?
Oh, I can't wait. We've got 6 days until the playoffs start, and I'm so excited for the Red Mile and for the Flames to finally be back in the postseason, and they're looking like a great team, so I'll have a look at the Flames a little later on.
Yeah, thank you. And now for today's top stories. United Conservative leader Jason Kenney is keeping Mark Smith as a candidate despite some controversial remarks in the past. Smith recently came under fire after older comments that were seen as homophobic and anti-abortion resurfaced. Smith's comments stem from a sermon in 2013, 2 years before he was elected. Kenney is sticking by Smith, despite saying he's disappointed. And despite the controversy, Kenney is adamant about keeping Smith in his riding as the candidate, but he condemns the comments that he made. Smith is the UCP Drayton Valley candidate for the upcoming election. Storm Lenny joins us live from the newsroom to preview tonight's debate. Storm, do you think the Smith controversy will be a topic at all tonight?
Absolutely, Chris. I think that they will definitely discuss that, especially with the upcoming election right around the corner. Other key issues that we can expect to hear, I believe, are going to be the pipeline, economic diversification, and carbon tax. So we can probably expect to hear some more about that during the debate tonight, too. Today marks day 17 since the Alberta election was called. For the last 2 weeks, party leaders have been traveling across the province discussing key issues and what their government would do if elected. Today, the leaders are taking a break and preparing to face off in a debate later tonight. The UCP has been under fire since last week when leader Jason Kenney announced that a UCP government would eliminate Bill 24, which attempted to prevent school staff from outing LGBTQ kids. The UCP argued the bill allowed school staff to keep secrets from their families and said they do not support mandatory notification for parents, but Kenney believes teachers should have the authority to tell parents if they deem necessary.
Clear that we support GSAs, and we will have in the Education Act the strongest legal protection for gay-straight alliances of any province in Canada. Essentially, the position that we have was the NDP's position 2 years ago. So I think that, unfortunately, the NDP has been trying to whip up fear amongst some people, including younger people who may not understand that our position was the NDP's position 2 years ago.
This has caused the party a lot of fire from the LGBTQ community, who felt that Bill 24 was groundbreaking for their community.
Well, for me, the Pride Club here at State is very safe, and it's very safe for me, knowing that there's other people like me, they not have the exact same background as me, but with the bill being taken away, that just makes the place not as safe as it was before.
Alberta NDP leader Rachel Notley, UCP leader Jason Kenney, Alberta Party leader Stephen Mandel, and Liberal Party leader David Kahn will be debating and discussing key issues in the province later tonight. That debate gets underway at 5:30 p.m.
So, Storm, what are some of the other social issues Albertans are expecting to be talked about in the debate tonight?
You know, Chris, social issues will play a huge role in the outcome of this upcoming election. Leaders have been talking about things like gender pay inequality, restoring relations with Indigenous groups, and education platforms. So I'm sure we can hear about that later tonight, too.
And can you maybe elaborate a little bit more on the gender pay inequality?
Well, you know, Chris, according to the Conference Board of Canada, women in Alberta still make 87 cents to the dollar of a man. So I've heard, political leaders have been talking about that on the campaign trail, and we can probably expect to hear more about that at tonight's debate as well.
Storm Lenny reporting live from the State Newsroom. The provincial election is widely believed to be a two-party race, but voters have more options than just blue and orange. The Alberta Party aims to be socially progressive while being fiscally responsible. The Alberta Independence Party, which says Alberta should separate from Canada, the Freedom Conservative Party, which is far right-wing option for voters, the Green Party, which has a platform looking to make Alberta greener, and the Alberta Communist Party wants a more socialist government.
they have to have the political guts almost to say, I want to be able to park my vote with a more centrist option. And I think deep down, more Albertans do line up centrally.
There are 12 different parties running in this election, and they all agree on one thing. Everyone should cast their ballot on April 16th. Police have just identified the victims of that double homicide in northeast Calgary yesterday. 25-year-old Jasdeep Singh and 22-year-old Japneet Mali were both from Airdrie. The shooting took place at 2:15 yesterday morning at the 2400 block of 37th Avenue Northeast in the Burger King parking lot. Police found 2 men with gunshot wounds in an SUV. One was pronounced dead at the scene and the other died later at the hospital. No suspects have been apprehended as of now, and the murders are the city's 4th and 5th homicide of the year. Police are asking for help finding a dark-colored 4-door Nissan Altima believed to be involved with the shooting. Anyone with information is urged to call Crime Stoppers at 403-262-TIPS. The Flames have locked down a playoff spot, and Calgarians are getting ready for the iconic Red Mile. Public safety is always a concern for big events, and as Vanessa Arate reports, Calgary police are trying to stay one step ahead so everyone can celebrate. No matter how you travel, the City of Calgary is hoping to ease your commute by fixing the city's roads and adding a new infrastructure. There are 20 new projects going around Calgary, including finishing up construction on the Crowchild Trail Bridge, beginning the 9th Avenue Bridge replacement, and finishing the last leg of Calgary's Southwest Ring Road. Construction on the Crowchild Bridge is expected to wrap up this fall. The $84 million project is on track and on budget to be finished by September after 2 years of constant year-round constructions. One of Calgary's biggest downtown strips is about to get a facelift. The City of Calgary is now seeking for proposals from design and landscape architecture firms to revamp Stephen Avenue, one of Calgary's most famous pedestrian hubs. E.T. Monroy joins us live from Stephen Avenue. E.T., Stephen Avenue might be getting a makeover, adding to the rest of the projects in Calgary. What more can you tell us?
That's right, Chris. So, you know, during lunch hours, Stephen Ave is always packed, and go figure, there's restaurant after restaurant after restaurant. And even there's some shopping along there, so you can get that done as well. But the City of Calgary feels like it needs more attraction, seeing that when people are done work, all they want to do is just go home. And it goes from being lively to inactive and gloomy. To develop fresh ideas for the entire length of Stephen Avenue from Olympic Plaza to 11th Street Southwest. The project will aim to extend the energy and liveliness of the pedestrian mall westward along 8th Avenue and encourage more private investment. It sounds like a great idea, but for Bill Motherwell, this project shouldn't be at the top of the list for the city.
Fiscal responsibility. I don't think the city's in a position to spend huge amounts of taxpayer money on anything right now until the larger financial picture in the province of Alberta gets sorted out.
Motherwell thinks some prudence with financial spending of the public dollar is long overdue and would rank this project pretty low on the priority list in the light of all the other things. But for others, the idea to revamp Stephen Avenue sounds about right.
From what I've noticed downtown and stuff, there's no daytime activities, there's no entertainment during the day. Like, you go downtown Toronto, there's buskers, there's this going on. There's just not a lot of entertainment. There's not any reason to stay down here right now, other than if you want to shop or something like that. But that's more spending money, not really entertainment. You know what I mean?
And you know what, Chris, I agree completely with Mike. I think during the day, there's just not enough attraction. You know, the Flames are going to the playoffs, and I think we need some more entertainment, some more liveliness here in the city. I think it needs it a lot, so hopefully that goes through. Back to you.
With big time coming down on Stephen Avenue, looks like that'll be needed. E.T. Monroy, live from Stephen Avenue. Next Friday is Bermuda Shorts Day at the University of Calgary. The year-end celebration is widely regarded as the biggest party day at the university. But the buzz is not nearly at the level it's been in previous years, because this year the celebration will be held inside McEwen Hall. As Jake Foster reports, many students aren't happy about it.
Pretty disappointed in the whole student union. The decision to move Bermuda short stay from outdoors in, it's not sitting well with many U of C students. Student Union Vice President Nabila Farid explains the decision to move indoors was mainly a financial one, saying, "We cannot continue to host an event that runs a $100,000 deficit, especially when the attendance levels suggest to us most students don't care about it anymore. But students do care, and to them the capacity of the new location is a big concern."
The fact that only 1,000 people can fit in Mac Hall is honestly really disappointing. I think it just takes away from the whole day and just really puts a negative light on BSD.
The other location for partying on BSD is a nearby street called D Block, where a mass of students normally head to after leaving the school. Now, D Block residents are used to having the festivities in their backyard get a little bit out of hand, but since Bermuda Short Stay has been moved indoors, they're expecting this year to get a little bit crazier.
It's going to be a bigger turnout because everyone's trying to boycott the fact that it's going to be inside, so I think it's going to be pretty rowdy.
Now, in previous years, the extra crowd might not have been a problem, but the police have taken early steps to try and contain the madness.
There are going to be police involvement, again, for the security and safety of everyone.
A couple of the girls on the block, like on the main street, have got the cops already come to their door and knocked and said, if there's any lawn parties or anything, we're going to fine you.
Next Friday, we will see how the change to location and the increased security on D Block play out. For State NewsFile, I'm Jake Foster.
One of the pandas at the Calgary Zoo is on pregnancy watch. Air Shun, one of the pandas brought from Toronto last year, was artificially inseminated yesterday, and zoo officials are carefully watching her. According to the zoo officials, due to a delay in the panda's reproductive system, they're not able to tell if the insemination is successful yet, but they will know soon. Air Shun will stay in a custom-built shelter at the back of the panda passage area during her pregnancy. She will also gave birth to 2 cubs back in 2015, the first giant pandas ever born in Canada. And those are today's top stories. We'll have your full forecast for you after the break, but first, Ryan O'Donnell has a look at what's going on around Calgary this week.
Stampede kicks off early this weekend as Aggie Days hits the grounds. Grab the family and send them on down to see real farm animals and speak with farmers to learn everything about Alberta's agricultural industry. Springfest is celebrating beer with a collection of some of Calgary's finest breweries. Head to Mill Street on 17th for some drinks and some fun this weekend. Halloween is far away, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy some spooks. Creep on over to Heritage Park for some tours of the haunted houses on site. Warning, not for the faint of heart. Cowboys Wing Off is tonight. 25 of Calgary's best wing restaurants will face off to settle once and for all who makes Calgary's best wings. Tickets start at $25 for all you can eat. And finally this weekend, the BMO Centre will be packed with artists, performers, and over 300 vendors for Calgary's Women's Show. The tickets are just $12.
There are hundreds of people living on Calgary streets despite unpredictable weather conditions. The Drop-In Center provides all the services they need to upgrade their life and make it a little better. They provide fresh cooked meals, medical care, and a warm place to stay. The Calgary Drop-In Center is always available to help people in need get back on their feet and start a new and improved life. Contact or donate today at calgarydropin.com.
This is Jackson, and this is Scout. And both of these dogs were once rescue animals. The only reason why was because of their previous owners, not the dogs. At the Cochrane and Area Humane Society, we find good animals, good homes, from their large dog training facilities to the quiet, relaxing cat room. You'll have great spaces to meet and learn about the animals that most interest you. Come check out Cochrane and Area Humane Society today. It's just off Griffin Road.
Well, Ryan, how do we get so lucky with the weather today? Like, I know I'm a little pasty, so I'm going to need the sunscreen coming out soon, but the weather's getting out pretty nice right now.
You and me both. We're both going to be sunburned. It's been fantastic outside. I mean, perfect patio weather.
And golfing.
Oh, yes. Thankfully here. Definitely in southern Alberta. Not so much in northern Alberta. I'll show you why. But speaking of patio weather, let's take a look at what's happening on Stephen Ave right now. We looked at it a little bit earlier, but man, is it beautiful outside today. Perfect weather to sit outside, have some lunch, and enjoy the sun. And that sun's going to stick around not for too much longer, and let's show you why.
So things are heating up pretty much across Canada right now as we move back into the spring, but particularly in Western Canada. So right now, Vancouver, you'd be surprised to see that it's not actually raining in Vancouver in April. There is some precipitation on the way to make up for that very dry winter they had. I feel bad for the Edmonton Oilers. They didn't make the playoffs, and it's also snowing, so they can't even golf right there. A high-pressure system has meant that very cold and weird temperatures are all over northern Alberta. We'll talk about that in just a bit. And it's quite warm in Saskatchewan right now. Regina, beautiful, beautiful. And Winnipeg also looking very nice. Now let's take a look at eastern Canada. The Atlantic is bringing in some pretty mild temperatures, and that's not really sitting well with most Ontarians, especially in Toronto. Not so nice and doesn't really hold up too well. Montreal, Halifax, St. John's, all sitting around very similar thanks to, once again, high pressure systems making their way in. At least it is stable for now. But it's beautiful there, but it's mostly beautiful at our resorts. So let's take a look at those. Pretty cloudy across the board, but things are heating up in the desert with a high of 27 in Palm Springs. Barbados and Cancun seem to be mirroring each other with matching weather. Hawaii is enjoying a lucky luau as they're the only spot with sun today, and Vegas and Orlando have some nice vacation weather, perfect for the spring. Well, beautiful day in Calgary, 14 degrees, a little bit of clouds. The wind's coming in. It's a little bit quick now and very chilly, but that's not going to stick around too long. And yep, rain, it's coming. It's going to get rid of that dead brown grass we see everywhere. So let's take a look across Alberta. Now, I mentioned a high pressure system that's all over northern Alberta right now, and that's what's causing the snow and the very cold temperatures you see in the north. Now, that system is making its way south to us here, but don't worry, it will not be snowing. We're just going to see some rain. That's going to be kind of across the province, but that's not a bad thing. So that's what the rain's for, make things a little bit more beautiful across the province, the green grass. And in Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, those are Canada's hot spots today. They're tied, and I mean, look at that. Beautiful temperatures across the board in Alberta. We'd be thankful we're here and not in Toronto. So fantastic. Now let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. So tonight it'll be a little bit chilly, but tomorrow nice, beautiful again. And there's that rain as that system comes back down, showers, but don't worry, not going to stick around too long. Beautiful for the rest of the week. And that's going to cause some warm temperatures all the way up in the mountains. Let's take a look at the ski reports. Lake Louise has some pretty good conditions for spring skiing, though. A high of 8 with a decent base is great, but the hills are in need of some fresh powder. Nakiska is looking pretty healthy with a base of 131 centimeters. The snow is groomed and looking great for the weekend. Castle Mountain may have had some fresh snow, but it won't be enough to fix the dreadful base of just 45 centimeters. Norquay is a bit on the chilly side with a high of -1 in clouds. The light base and fresh snow should make for some decent conditions. Your time to ski at Fernie may be running out as the mountains see spring conditions with lots of sun. Head on over and hit the powder while you still can. And sunshine is by far our best spot of the day. Beautiful weather, fresh snow, open lifts, and a thick base by far make the best skiing conditions of the day and the weekend.
Well, Danica, we talked about the Calgary Flames at the top of the show, but there's another hockey team in Calgary here that's really prepping for a good playoff push right now.
Yeah, and they had a surprising first round. The Hitmen make it to round 2, and nobody expected them to make it past the Lethbridge Hurricanes, but they're going there. And Jordan Bay was at practice earlier. He has that coming up for us later on in sports. But first, the Calgary Flames have already secured a playoff berth in first place in the Western Conference. So now the only question is, who will they play in the first round? And maybe one more question. Will Johnny Gaudreau hit 100 points for the first time in his career? Heading into last night, Johnny Hockey sat on 97 points, and his usual line mates, Sean Monahan and Elias Lindholm, were out of the lineup and resting up for the postseason. But no rest for number 13. He wants that 100, taking on the Anaheim Ducks, who will miss the playoffs for the first time since 2012. The Flames, with 7 regulars out of the lineup, including their top 4 defensemen, and it didn't start well. First period, Oliver Shillington fighting for that number 6 spot on the Flames' back end. Some lazy defending in the slot. He let Sam Steele get a shot off. It beats David Riddick. 1-0 Ducks. And it didn't get better for Shillington. He lets Max Jones push him around, and Jones, well, he makes it 2 for Anaheim. The Ducks rookie, Jones going to work. One-handed around Shillington, and Riddick, he might want that one back. The Flames look to answer back with the tiny man line of Gaudreau, Derek Ryan, and Austin Czarnik going to work. Czarnik cross ice to Gaudreau. He finds Derek Ryan in the middle, and the doctor undresses Ryan Miller. How about those hands? Derek Ryan's 13th of the year in the assist. Johnny Hockey now has 98 points. 20 seconds later, Shillington, the give and go with Michael Backlund, and Shillington's shot is stopped by the shoulder of Ryan Miller, who was sharp in this one. And the final goal of the game comes just 5 minutes into the second period. As the power play ends, Ryan Getzlaf walks around Rasmus Anderson and beats Riddick far side. The Flames can't answer back with so many of their top scorers out of the lineup. They're headed back to Calgary. So the Flames fall 3-1, but the game doesn't really matter for either team. Calgary is guaranteed first in the West, and the Ducks are guaranteed to miss the playoffs. Derek Ryan has 13 points in his last 12 games, and Johnny Hockey inching closer and closer to that 100-point milestone. He has 1 game left to reach it. The final game of the regular season before the postseason begins on Wednesday, a Battle of Alberta on Saturday, puck drop 8 o'clock at the Saddledome. The Calgary Hitmen survived an absolute grind of a series as they knocked off the Lethbridge Hurricanes in 7 games. They were able to overcome adversity and upset the second-place Hurricanes. Jordan Bay has been following the team, and he joins us live from the State Newsroom. Jordan, what's the mood heading into round 2?
Well, Danica, you said it exactly. The Calgary Hitmen had no business being in this series, but they were able to go the distance and beat the Lethbridge Hurricanes.
Coder chopped one wide on the net. Here's a chance they score.
The Calgary Hitmen spent the entire season fighting to rebound from an 0-6 start. They fought their way into the playoffs, and on Tuesday night, they battled to win Game 7 and advanced to Round 2 of the WHL playoffs for the first time since 2015.
Yeah, you know, it was a really awesome experience. You know, those are do-or-die games. Everyone wants to keep playing, so I think you can't think about that too much. You just gotta focus on your job. I think everyone did a great job of that. You know, Hammy just really wanted us to be in the moment and not get too nervous, not get too uptight, and just go out there and play, and I think we did a great job of that.
The Hitmen had their season arguably saved by rookie goaltender Jack McNaughton. He says the mood was high going into that 7th do-or-die game.
Definitely never been that nervous before a game. Nothing's ever come close to that, but after the first period when we were up 3-0, everything started to settle down a bit.
For Calgary, their next task is another daunting one in the form of the Edmonton Oil Kings. The Oil Kings finished first in the Central Division and enjoyed a 7-0-1 record against the Hitmen in the regular season. Calgary head coach Steve Hamilton knows his boys are in tough.
To hit the reset button again and prepare for a tough series. And they're first place team for a reason. They're skilled and got lots of good things, but you know, we just faced a highly skilled team a round ago, so we'll have to come up with another tight game plan and get our guys to buy in and get at it again.
Well, the Calgary Hitmen will definitely have their hands full with Trey's Fix-Wolanski, Columbus Blue Jackets prospect. He has been dynamite for the Edmonton Oil Kings, along with that entire first line. Now, one other thing to note, these two teams, they don't really like each other that much, so it should make for a very entertaining series. Danica?
Jordan Bay reporting from the State Newsroom. The Hitmen will kick off their series. Game 1 goes Saturday night. That game starts at 7 o'clock. With just a few games left in the NBA regular season, the Toronto Raptors look to be all but locked into second place in the East, with the Milwaukee Bucks looking like a safe bet to clinch the conference. Last night, a potential first-round preview as the Raptors visited the Brooklyn Nets, who sit 7th in the East. In the first, D'Angelo Russell finds Joe Harris, and he goes to work. The bench likes that one. A couple minutes later, Danny Green with the takeaway, and then the long pass to Pascal Siakam. He feeds Kawhi Leonard in the middle, who has the huge dunk to put the Raptors up early. Jump ahead to the fourth quarter, Raptors up by 8, and Russell drops to the 3 to pull within 5. And then just a minute later, Van Vliet finds Jeremy Lin, who stutter steps around Russell and hits the easy jumper. Now 5 minutes left, Van Vliet to Serge Ibaka, and the Nets leave him all alone. So the big man, he drains the 3. 90 seconds left. Russell not ready to lay down yet. He hits another 3 to pull within 5 with just over a minute left in the game. But it wouldn't be enough. Ibaka grabs Siakam's rebound and puts it to bed. The Raptors take the potential first-round preview by 5 points. Big night from Pascal Siakam. He had 28 and 10 boards in his team-high 36 minutes on the floor. Kawhi with 26 and Serge Ibaka coming off the bench for 23 points and 12 rebounds. The Raptors stay hot with only 3 games left in the regular season. Final score 115 to 110. The Toronto Blue Jays have had a slow start to the Major League season, going 4-2 in their first 6. Yesterday, they looked for their first win against the Baltimore Orioles. They finished out a 3-game series. Randall Grichuk proves that he's worth that $52 million contract that he signed earlier this week. A pair of solo home runs for him, as well as a double to score in the first. He started the game at center field in place of Kevin Pillar, who was traded to the Giants on Tuesday. Despite bringing in 3 in the top of the 9th, the Orioles can't complete the comeback, and the Jays avoid the 3-game sweep. They take it 5-3. And they are back in action as we speak, and it is all tied at 0 still. We're in the top of the 3rd inning, and not a lot of action so far to speak of in this one. The Blue Jays visiting Cleveland. Aaron Sanchez gets the start as Toronto open up a 4-game series in Cleveland. Sanchez won his first game of the year over the weekend when he shut out the Detroit Tigers. The Indians have had a shaky start as well, going 2-3, but they'll look to change their fortunes against the Blue Jays. And that's a look at sports.
That sounds good. Yeah, really decent start to the season so far for the Blue Jays, and Cleveland a little bit on the other side, but I mean, 162 games. It's a long season coming up.
And I think the Blue Jays have been slightly better maybe than people even thought they would be.
Yeah, I think they've turned some heads so far to start. So coming up, we'll take a look at what we'll have a rare look inside an animation studio here in Calgary.
Food, a basic necessity for everyone, but not everyone can get it for themselves or can afford it for that matter. But this is where Meals on Wheels comes into help. Meals on Wheels is a non-for-profit in Calgary. Their main objective is to promote health and independence in the community. Meals on Wheels does this by providing and delivering quality, nutritious, and affordable meals for everyone in our community. Meals on Wheels values their clients and understands their situation and needs. So short-term or long-term, Meals on Wheels is here to help.
Well, it's not animation, but it is mascots coming up. And who's your favorite mascot, Danica?
Harvey the Hound.
Gritty.
Gritty's great.
Go Gritty.
I gotta love my boy Slapshot. But here we got another one. So basketball players do work pretty hard, but after seeing this video, I gotta think the mascots work way harder. Take a look here.
Oh, who is the Spurs mascot?
That's terrifying.
These guys.
First quarter is past, tied at 22, and Clutch welcoming a San Antonio fan as he takes his jersey off and then hits him with a chocolate cake.
Oh, my
From
goodness.
the looks of that guy's body, he could probably use less cake. 11 lead changes, 5 ties already in this game. Oh.
Well, that's pretty funny. As I used to be a mascot in high school, and I can't imagine doing it in a warm city like that. I did it here in Calgary.
Wait a second, you were a mascot?
I was.
Silly string someone like that?
I was a Trojan, actually.
Oh,
kind of appropriate, right?
Convenient.
Exactly. Well, thank you all for watching tonight. Have a good night.
Stay classy.